A recent TikTok video has left the internet asking one question. What are corporations putting in our takeout orders? The warning? Food at McDonald's contains chemicals that cause cancer, and the sign was put up by the restaurant itself. The video went viral, racking over 1 million views in just a few weeks and sparking widespread alarm. But now these warnings aren't just at McDonald's, they're appearing at many of our favorite restaurants. Could the food so many of us eat regularly really be causing serious health conditions like cancer without us even knowing it? And if so, which foods and places should we avoid like our lives depend on it? That's disgusting. How can they still be in business? How are the customers going to know this? How is this legal? Pretty sure it's not, actually. And the outcry only heightened after a foreigner visiting the US posted a similar video.
So I'm in this McDonald's in California and I do not believe what I just read. It says this stuff contains acrylamide, which causes cancer. So you're telling me McDonald's is selling food that causes bloody cancer? What?
But it isn't just customers who are being confronted with cancer warnings.
We are at McDonald's, and where the employees go in, they got a warning sign. And the warning sign says, entering this area can expose you to chemicals known to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm, including gasoline engine exhaust.
Even everyday equipment at McDonald's seems to carry risks. As one alleged employee put it, a cancer reproductive warning on our new coffee pots? How is this allowed? However, these disturbing warnings haven't exactly made customers abandon the chain. It's crazy they tell you you're getting poison and still people are somehow going in. But if McDonald's is posting warnings about cancer-causing chemicals, could other fast food chains be doing the same, or worse? What aren't they telling us about the food millions of people eat every day? Well, it turns out McDonald's isn't alone. Other major fast food chains display similar warning signs, including Domino's, Starbucks, KFC, and more.
Bam! I'm at another Chick-fil-A. Where we at? El Segundo? And this Chick-fil-A has the warning sign. Here we go. Now I wanted Raising Cane's. We had Raising Cane's. See if they got the sign. I done found it. All right. There go the sign right there. Bam, even at Taco Bell, look it. Right here in the drive-thru. Warning sign.
And these warnings aren't limited to physical restaurants. Customers at these chains are also warned while ordering online that their purchases might just come with a side order of harmful chemicals. But surely these warnings were limited to fast food chain restaurants, right? Well, if you're thinking eating out less will solve the problem, think again. These warnings have been found on numerous grocery items, including bags of rice, bread, cereal, and potato chips.
So the warning label is in the bottom left corner of the bag underneath the ingredients.
And in a world where even supposedly healthy options, like say frozen fruit, even from trusted brands like Kirkland, can expose you to cancer-causing chemicals, everything becomes a risk. In fact, even products you don't consume can put you in danger. This could include electronics like a treadmill from Amazon, headphones, or an air fryer.
Y'all, look at this box. Warning, cancer and reproductive harm. What?
Or even establishments like hotels in California that are forced to inform guests that the use of their plastic and vinyl items, or even a night's stay, could expose them to chemicals that cause cancer, birth defects, or other reproductive harm. One Reddit user commented, "The one that sticks out to me is the sign at the entrance plaza at Disneyland. Just a blanket warning that this place will give you cancer. All of it, probably." That's right. Along with other amusement parks, even the happiest place on earth might be poisoning you.
Why are we allowing businesses to even put stuff in their products that this warning is required? Why?
And the list of potentially cancerous items goes on, from seemingly harmless Hello Kitty bags to items you trust at the most intimate level, adult toys. Yes, these chemicals are literally woven into the fabric of our lives, whether it's the clothing we wear.
I normally see this for clothes that are sold online, but I was in a store and I saw this warning label.
Or the fabric we lounge on. As for the public reaction, well, consumers aren't pleased.
Look at how cute my Tupperware is. Oh no, it causes cancer. I thought these knives were adorable. When I brought them home, I noticed that they cause cancer. I bought this darling yoga chandelier, but I'm afraid to touch it because it causes cancer. And I don't know about you, but I kind of want someone to go to jail. It goes beyond unethical. It's like this is evil.
But as concerning as these warning signs are, they spark even bigger questions. What exactly is causing these risks? Is it the preparation process, the packaging, or is it the food itself that customers have to fear? You might have noticed that several of the warnings we've looked at list the same harmful chemical, acrylamide. Acrylamide is a toxic compound that's been identified as a possible carcinogen. And because it forms during high-temperature cooking, well, it's everywhere. In 2005, the California Attorney General sued McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and other fast food chains for allegedly failing to warn customers about the high levels of acrylamide in their French fries. The companies ended up settling, agreeing to post acrylamide warnings at their restaurants and to pay civil penalties and costs, which for McDonald's amounted to $3 million. However, restaurants weren't the only companies targeted in this lawsuit. Potato chip manufacturers, including Frito-Lay and Kettle Foods Inc., were also accused of exposing customers to high amounts of this cancer-causing chemical.
If you're eating these, as we showed in the piece, in essence, you're getting the same chemical that can be found in these, acrylamide.
These chip companies ended up agreeing to lower the levels of acrylamide in their products and pay a combined $3 million in fines. But the acrylamide scare wasn't over yet. This time, it wasn't guilty pleasure snacks and sides that were under fire, but America's favorite morning pick-me-up. That's right, in 2010, a lawsuit targeted more than 90 coffee companies, including Starbucks, for failing to inform customers about the acrylamide that was released during the coffee bean roasting process. But while the suit came out victorious in 2018,
a judge in California has ruled that Starbucks and other coffee companies across the state must put a cancer warning on their drinks because of a chemical produced during the roasting process.
By 2019, the California Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment determined that acrylamide in coffee poses no significant cancer risk, meaning these companies were no longer required to add warnings.
Bottom line, acrylamide is not a new problem. More than likely, it has been around in some form or amount since we began to cook. And given the potential health benefits of coffee, scientists say it's not something you have to cut out just yet.
But of course, acrylamide isn't the only chemical putting consumers on edge. An investigation by Consumer Reports revealed that high toxic chemicals, known as PFAs, or per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, have been detected in the grease-resistant packaging used by some of the most popular restaurant chains in the U.S.
Turns out even the wrapper may be harmful to your health. Scientists say they found fluorinated chemicals in 1/3 of nearly 400 packages that were analyzed.
PFAs are often called forever chemicals because they don't break down naturally in the environment. Now imagine that in your body. Yes, these substances accumulate in the body over time, and long-term exposure has been linked to numerous health issues, including increased risks of kidney, testicular, and thyroid cancer, decreased fertility, immune system suppression, and problems with fetal development, according to the National Cancer Institute and multiple scientific reports. Food manufacturers and restaurants use PFAs in packaging primarily to repel grease and prevent oil leaks. Just think back to your KFC bucket and how the container is always intact despite the oily food. However, Justin Boucher, an environmental engineer at the Food Packaging Forum, warns us that these chemicals don't just stay in the packaging. We know that these substances migrate into food you eat. It's clear, direct exposure, Justin told Consumer Reports. In 2022, Consumer Reports tested more than 100 different food packaging products from restaurants and grocery chains and found PFAs in packaging from every single retailer tested. This includes giants like Arby's, Burger King, Cava, Checkers, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Five Guys, Freshii, Hannah Ford, Kroger, McDonald's, Nathan's Famous, Panera Bread, Popeyes, Roy Rogers, Shake Shack, Smash Burgers, Stop & Shop, Sweet Green, Taco Bell, Trader Joe's, Wendy's, White Castle, and Whole Food Markets. You heard that right. Even chains that market themselves as healthy were included in the list. For McDonald's, the highest levels of PFAs were found in bags for fries, cookies, chicken McNuggets, and the Big Mac container. Yeah, customers were allegedly being poisoned by the brands they trust. And it wasn't long before internet users were connecting the dots. Over 10 million people worldwide die of cancer yearly, and no one even asks questions or challenges governments to find out what's happening. We just continue with our daily life and make this a part of our reality. Soon after this report was published, McDonald's and Burger King found themselves in 3 different class action lawsuits, mostly focused on claims of false advertising. One suit claimed, the use of PFAs in its products stands in stark contrast to McDonald's brand identity. McDonald's Corporation tells consumers, investors, and the general public that the products are safe. In response, McDonald's announced plans to phase out PFAs in its packaging by 2025, which is why you might have seen these new cardboard containers recently, versus the original white glossy ones. Burger King and Chick-fil-A also committed to reducing their reliance on these chemicals. However, some companies have emphasized that completely eliminating PFAS may be impossible. Yes, the revelations about toxic chemicals in packaging are deeply concerning, but they're only one part of a much darker picture. After all, what about the food inside these packages? Could the very ingredients used in popular menu items be hiding dangers most customers don't even know about? To start, most food items at McDonald's contain far more ingredients than an average customer could ever guess. You heard that right. A Big Mac isn't just beef, cheese, lettuce, onion, and pickles. Chicken McNuggets aren't just chicken, flour, and seasoning. And even ketchup and salt at McDonald's are far from what you expect. According to the analysis done by The Independent, the fast food giant uses a staggering 2,000 ingredients across its menu, about 78 of which include a range of different additives that the manufacturer uses on 578 separate occasions. As a result, these additives show up in nearly every McDonald's menu item, from salads to grilled chicken. Paul Saladino, an MD and social media personality, analyzed these items, revealing some alarming findings. He discovered that chicken McNuggets contain 4 different seed oils: corn, canola, soybean, and hydrogenated soybean oil, ingredients the expert found deeply concerning.
Seed oils are something that humans never would have been exposed to before. 100 years ago, they were used as machine lubricants, and now they're a huge part of our food supply. Is it any wonder that before the early 1900s, things like cancer and autoimmune disease were much more rare, cardiovascular disease, heart attacks were almost unheard of, and since then these have increased massively. Obviously, there are many things that have caused these health conditions to skyrocket in the last 100 to 115 years, but I think seed oils are a major contributor to this.
Even ketchup, which typically contains a simple mix of tomatoes, salt, and vinegar at McDonald's, it contains natural flavors and high fructose corn syrup, an artificial sugar that has been linked to serious health problems, including obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. The Big Mac bun was also hardly what it appeared to be.
It's just bread, right? Nope. In the bun, there are 2 different seed oils, canola and soybean oil, and sugar.
And then there are the products wedged between McDonald's buns, like pickles that, you guessed it, contained dangerous additives.
Aluminum salts, polysorbate 80, and potassium sorbate. None of those are good for humans, and excess amounts of aluminum in our diets have been associated with increased rates of dementia like Alzheimer's.
As for the chain's signature fries, not only were they cooked in 4 different types of seed oil, but the company uses 19 ingredients in the manufacturing, including dimethylpolysiloxane and THBQ,
a chemical preservative which is associated with cancers in lab animals.
And if you need a comparison to see how harmful this product can allegedly be, board-certified MD Robert Floyd has got you covered.
You're not going to believe that this package of French fries has more acrolein in it than this package of smokes.
According to the information provided by the FDA, acrylamide has been shown to cause cancer in animals exposed to very high doses. Plus, in 2015, the EU's European Food Safety Authority stated that the substance potentially increases the risk of developing cancer for consumers in all age groups. Naturally, insights like this haven't gone over well online. I absolutely don't understand why it's even legal to sell such things as food. All those oils and other harmful substances should be prohibited. It's so sad that this has become so popular in our diet. It's literally killing us. But when it comes to the hidden dangers of eating McDonald's, the food in the packaging is just the tip of the iceberg. See, even the items McDonald's uses to serve and promote its products have come under scrutiny. Among these, collectible glasses have raised concern due to their potential harmful contents. The controversy began in 2010, when Jennifer Taggart, an author and lawyer with years of experience in environmental law and consumer product safety, purchased McDonald's Shrek Forever After promotional drinking glasses for her 7-year-old son. Jennifer had a habit of routinely testing household items for toxins. Using a handheld device designed to detect heavy metals, she did the same with McDonald's glass. And the results.
A consumer alert for you this morning. Parents, you need to listen up. McDonald's is recalling 12 million drinking glasses being sold to promote the new movie Shrek.
The problem is within the paint. Federal regulators are recalling these glasses because they say that the paint used to decorate them contains cadmium.
Yes, cadmium, a toxic heavy metal linked to severe health risks. The federal safety level of cadmium for paint on toys is 75 parts per million. But according to the New York Times, the drinking glasses contain 670 to 956 ppm, which exceeds the limit by more than 790% to 1,170%. Cadmium is known to accumulate in the body over time, and long-term exposure is associated with cancer, kidney damage, weakened bones, and other critical health issues, according to the WHO. After cadmium findings were published, Representative Jackie Spears stated, "I would be deeply troubled if a glass my child was holding had residue of a known carcinogen that got into their fingertips, and they licked their fingers because they just had a McDonald's French fry." Although McDonald's maintained that the glasses met safety standards at the time of production, and that they had only recalled the product after an abundance of caution, the result cost McDonald's an estimated $15 million, with customers offered a $2 refund per glass. Despite the recall, many customers were never informed about the toxic cadmium levels. Over the years, countless glasses likely remained in use, continuing to pose a hidden health risk to unsuspecting families.
Well, that's scary. I mean, you hear something like that and don't really know until way later on. I mean, we drink out of those all the time.
But McDonald's isn't alone in facing such controversies. With millions relying on fast food for convenience, could other major chains also be using ingredients or products that pose serious health risks? Known for its bold flavors and affordable menu, Taco Bell's food may come with a hidden cost.
I think Taco Bell is disgusting, and if you're eating that stuff, that is absolutely gross.
The company first raised concerns in 2011 when a lawsuit alleged that the meat served by Taco Bell contained only 35% beef. This had to be a joke. Surely the chain's meat was 100% the real deal, right? Well, in response, Taco Bell released a series of videos defending their product, claiming their beef wasn't 35% real meat, it was
88% premium ground beef.
That's right. 12% of the chain's beef was made of a secret recipe. Though the lawsuit was dropped, widespread media attention led to intensified pressure to uncover the contents of that mysterious 12%.
Think of it when you're making chili. You add your own recipe of seasoning and spices.
Eventually, Taco Bell revealed the recipe, which included spices, binders, texturizers, artificial flavors, and colors, totaling 13 different ingredients. The company was quick to point out that most of these ingredients are common in food manufacturing, but that isn't to say that they are safe. Experts found that many of these ingredients have been linked to various health problems. Texturizers like soy lecithin, lactic acid, and cellulose were found to potentially cause gastric and digestive problems. Sodium phosphate, another ingredient on the list, was flagged by the FDA for causing severe dehydration. But perhaps most unnerving was the inclusion of caramel color, which contains 4-methyl-imidazole, a chemical classified as a carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer.
You're about to find out what's inside a Crunchwrap Supreme from Taco Bell, and it's gross.
Several popular menu items contain a staggering number of health hazardous additives, artificial flavorings, and preservatives.
When you look what's inside it on their website, and you click on nutrition info, all the real ingredients are here, but you have to scroll. See? That's crazy. The more you keep scrolling, the more you should feel disgusted.
What is actually in Taco Bell steak? This one even surprised me. You would think probably, 2, 3, 4 ingredients, right? We have over 20 ingredients in the Taco Bell steak.
Unfortunately, these concerns aren't limited to traditional fast food chains. Even companies that position themselves as quality options like Starbucks have faced criticism for their use of harmful and potentially cancerous ingredients.
I was buying coffee at Starbucks and they had this warning sign at the counter before you purchase, basically saying that their coffee roasting process can increase your risk of cancer.
One product in particular has become a symbol of the controversy, the pumpkin spice latte. First introduced in 2003, the drink quickly became one of the company's most iconic seasonal menu items. However, for years, Starbucks faced criticism for refusing to disclose the drink's full list of ingredients. That is, until Vani Hari, food activist and founder of the blog Food Babe, allegedly took matters into her own hands.
It was a mystery until I convinced a barista to show me the ingredients on the back of the bottles they were using to make menu items like their famous pumpkin spice lattes. I found out here in the United States, Starbucks was coloring their PSLs with caramel coloring level 4, an ingredient made from ammonia and linked to cancer.
Customers were outraged after discovering what the USA's #1 coffee brand has been feeding them. These corporations are literally killing us. People are so evil. Seriously, what are we doing? Following widespread criticism, Starbucks stopped using caramel coloring in the pumpkin spice latte. But critics argue that many of the company's drinks remain far from healthy.
Some of their well-known drinks contain potassium sorbate, which is genotoxic to white blood cells and can cause cancer. And lastly, that whipped cream they use to top off your drink contains carrageenan, which is linked to intestinal inflammation and cancer.
So, if food and beverages sold at popular chains can hide toxic chemicals and harmful ingredients, What does that mean for the products lining the shelves of your local Walmart, Target, and other major retailers? It turns out, even over-the-counter medications, the very purchases that are supposed to improve health, can pose life-threatening risks. Take Mucinex, for example, which is sold at major retailers like Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and Target. While these store-brand versions of the popular cold medicine might seem a harmless, budget-friendly alternative, they could be hiding a deadly secret.
Recently, it was reported that the store-brand version from CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart of the generic version of Mucinex was made with a benzene product.
While both the brand name Mucinex and the store brands contain the same active ingredient, guaifenesin, the problem lies in an active ingredient called carboner, used in cheaper versions that are made with benzene. Benzene is a potential carcinogen that has been linked to blood cancers like leukemia and lymphoma. And despite international warnings, benzene has been allowed in U.S. drugs for decades. To make matters worse, it's been found in several other store-brand products, from oral pain relievers to moisturizers with sunscreen. According to the FDA, benzene is a Class 1 solvent that should not be used in the manufacturing of drug substances and drug products due to its unacceptable toxicity. The FDA plans to phase out benzene in drugs by 2026. But the fact remains that millions of consumers would unknowingly have already been exposed to this toxic chemical. Another recent report by Valisure, an independent laboratory, exposed a finding that was equally unsettling.
A U.S. lab says it has detected a cancer-causing chemical in many over-the-counter acne treatments. In some instances, the lab says it found benzene in concentrations hundreds of times greater than what the American FDA allows.
Fortunately, popular acne creams like Proactive and Clearasil have been found to contain benzene, a chemical which has been linked to cancer, far above safe limits.
The products tested included well-known brands like Proactive, Clearasil, and Panoxy, as well as generic versions from retailers like Walmart, Target, and Walgreens. Many of these were found to be made with benzoyl peroxide, which, according to Homer Sway, PhD from the Environmental Warning Group, is not new. He added, "What is shocking is that the majority of these over-the-counter acne products don't seem to be properly stabilized to prevent benzene." But it gets worse. Valishure's testing found unacceptably high levels of benzene, not just in the products themselves, but also in the air around them, presenting an inhalation risk. In one test, Proactive was exposed to 70 degrees Celsius, which is about the temperature of a hot car, for less than a day. And the benzene levels found were so high that if the product were to be in a 100 cubic square foot compact car, the air would contain 1,270 times the EPA's threshold for increased cancer risk from long-term inhalation exposure to benzene. What's even more horrifying is that target demographic for these types of products, teens, many of whom have no idea the risks, are simply in pursuit of clear skin. Wow, I used benzoyl peroxide on my acne for years growing up. So there are no regulatory bodies that are checking products to keep us safe? Just blindly hoping that these companies do the right thing is beyond absurd. But the danger isn't limited to the drug and cosmetic aisles.
Walmart has recently issued a recall of about 10,000 cases of their great value apple juices that specifically come in 8 ounces in a 6-pack because they contain elevated levels of inorganic arsenic.
Arsenic, a naturally occurring substance, comes in 2 forms: organic and inorganic. The inorganic variety, often found in drinking waters and foods like apple juice, is particularly toxic, and long-term exposure has been linked to serious health issues, including cancer, according to the American Cancer Society. Again, the public was clueless until it was too late. This is actually really bad. I have a 3-year-old with type 1 diabetes, so we often need juice for low blood sugars. My children have been consuming it for months. My one son consumes it way more, and he started showing white spots on his fingernails. Blood test and hair/fingernail test next. Now, this leaves us with the final question. Is it possible that at least some foods and products aren't as dangerous as they seem? Let's talk about those cancer warning stickers and posters. These are known as Proposition 65 warnings. Proposition 65 is a law that was passed in California in 1986 with one intention: to protect consumers. After all, now retailers were forced to confirm if their products contained even trace amounts of elements that could cause health issues like cancer, birth defects, or other reproductive harm. And with a list of chemicals that spans 44 pages that's updated every year, this law is nothing if not thorough. But while some applauded California's transparency,
thank God that there's
legislation that prompts these companies to disclose to their consumers.
Not everyone is convinced that Proposition 65 is the answer. In fact, many consumers argue that the cancer warnings under this law can be misleading. Under Prop 65, there is no system of defining how harmful something is compared to another. So essentially, it categorizes something like coffee the same as weapons-grade plutonium. It's just a massive joke. A cancer warning is pretty broad and some might say misleading. It doesn't mean the thing is absolutely cancerous, but there's a small smidgen of a chance that it could be. See, while the chemicals Proposition 65 forces retailers to warn consumers about can be dangerous or even deadly, this is often only in extremely high concentrations. Even though Prop 65's no significant risk level for cancer risk is at 0.2 micrograms of acrylamide each day, and a cup of coffee definitely exceeds that at 0.45 micrograms of acrylamide, there are animal studies that tell us not to worry. Supposedly harmful doses of acrylamide only appear at around 500 to 2,000 micrograms per kilogram of body weight per day in animals. To match the harmful dose observed in animals, a human weighing around 70 kilograms would need to consume 35,000 to 140,000 micrograms of acrylamide per day. We've done the math to find out just how much 35,000 micrograms is in some of these products, and here are the examples. To reach cancerous levels of coffee, you would have to consume 77,778 cups of coffee per day. For fries, that would be about 897 medium servings of fries per day. Potato chips, 91 pounds per day. Toast, 8,750 slices per day. Cookies, 3,500 per day. So, unless you're this competitive eater of the millennium, the odd sweet treat or takeout order likely isn't going to kill you. PFA exposure, on the other hand, is difficult to calculate. One food order wrapped in packaging containing PFAs could expose a customer to 10 to 20 parts per thousand per meal. And if you're eating multiple packaged meals per day, that could add up to 30 to 60 ppt or more daily. While that number might not seem high, these forever chemicals can build up in your system over time. That means daily exposure, even in small amounts, could lead to cancer, liver damage, thyroid disruption, or other health issues down the road. Ultimately, however, this depends on the PFAS levels in the packaging and your body's ability to process and eliminate these chemicals. But even with Proposition 65, the public isn't always informed when they're at risk. See, even over the years, various retailers and companies have violated the law by exposing the public to dangerous chemicals without providing a warning. This includes the Walt Disney Company, Target, Walmart, CVS, and others. In fact, in 2019, Amazon was hit with over 1,000 notices for allegedly failing to disclose the presence of potentially harmful chemicals and products sold on its platform. The Environmental Research Center, a small nonprofit group that tests products for toxic chemicals, has also called out several companies for violating Proposition 65, including Prime Hydrogen, Poppy Soda, and Celsius, which have all been accused of containing lead and mercury. However, even when companies do abide by Proposition 65, there might be more in it for them than the consumer. After all, for some companies, Proposition 65 isn't so much an exercise in accountability, but a legal loophole. So what should consumers do if they really want to protect themselves? Chemicals like acrylamide are significantly less dangerous than these warnings make them seem. If you want to limit your exposure, try to avoid hot coffee and fried or processed food. Instead, opt for grilled or baked options, fresh produce, and to satisfy your caffeine fix, try cold brew or tea. Avoiding PFAs may be more difficult, but eating out less and avoiding prepackaged food is a good start. Still, many believe this burden shouldn't fall on consumers alone, and that more should be done to protect the public from the hidden dangers in everyday products.
Scientists now say these foods should be regulated with tobacco-style warnings and advertising bans.
Health experts want bold warning labels on foods high in sugar and unhealthy fats in an effort to curb the growing obesity crisis.
As health concerns grow, the push for stricter laws that value people over profit is gaining momentum. But until this transparency is provided, the question remains, how much do we really know about the products we consume?